Hi, I'm Coach Nate, and today we're going to be reviewing Orisa gameplay. So for those of you who are trying to figure out how to play Orisa in the new patch, this VoD review is for you. For those of you that want to follow along and to look at this VoD by yourself before I talk about it, I'll include that down below. And the Orisa gameplay will be starting at about 6 minutes and 53 seconds into the video. I've already done the VOD review of the Zarya gameplay in this video, which is the beginning part of the video, because they played Zarya on defense and we're on the offense now. So if you wish to see that, that's in the previous video. And you can find that on my YouTube channel. We're at 6 minutes and 53 seconds or somewhere on there with the Orisa gameplay. And the first thing I want to talk about with Orisa and this new patch is that Orisa, while her shield is no longer really to be treated like a shield, where you can just sit there forever and kind of hold a position. You're going to need to use your environment as your actual shield, and then as like you would with the Orisa's old shield, as a way to block most of the damage, and then treat Orisa's new shield, set that down to provide your team with a window of opportunity to either cross from one position to another, so rotate, or to get some damage in. And in this circumstance, so we have a bastion, so you probably will have to use it to get some damage in. But we'll take a look at how this plays out. So the entire team's there and they just melt your shield. So what I'd rather you do is step 1, get up to the corner here. Step 2, make sure the rest of your team's there. And hopefully by that time you're not receiving any damage from the other enemy team. They're kind of just waiting for you. So in those situations, you can do step 1 and 2. And then step 3, then you put your shield down. And then provide your team with a window of time to get some damage on a bastion once you figure out where he's at. But as you can see, your shield got melted anyways. So you could have had it maybe like right here and put some extra damage in there. Now we're at about 7 minutes and 12 seconds in here, and you'll be putting your next shield down soon here. So what I'm going to suggest is that you put your shield closer to the hotel on the left here, so that the building partially obscures your shield from their point of view, making the enemy causing them to have to round this corner in order to shoot your shield, while providing your team with, your team can still use the shield. They don't need to be all the way out to the right on the point. It's better to cause the enemy to want to come forward to attack you, because they need to contest the point, right? So they need to come forward to do that. At least some of them do. So the reason why I'm saying this is because, like we said earlier, your shield doesn't have a lot of health. Putting the whole entire shield out there where it can be shot by anybody easily, when they're backed up off the point, doesn't help you as much. They'll just delete your shield. You won't have one, and then your team can't use it. Now we're at about 7 minutes and 30 seconds here, 7:26 to be exact, and you're about to put your next shield down. So the other one got deleted already. You used your shift, and you're kind of out of your tanking abilities after you put this down. So like I said earlier, put it closer to the hotel, because watch what happens. Alright, it's already gone. It's immediately deleted. And now you're out of all your abilities. Your team's there behind you, but you're kind of running out of options. So that's why you kind of want to be close. That's why you want to be putting your shield closer to this hotel here, because when it gets deleted, you can move backwards and break line of sight using the hotel wall, so that you're no longer exposed. Your team can back up when you need to. And then you can buy some time, get your shielding resources back or your tank resources back, or do whatever you need to do. Maybe strafe in and out of cover and get some extra damage in while being healed up, etc. But being out here in the very center of the point with no cover in sight, really, like you really don't have anywhere to break line of sight right here, right? So that's what's about to get you deleted. And I'll hit play so you can see it. Right? And you even try to run to cover there. You recognize that you're screwed and that you need to get to cover, but you don't have it. So if you were there already, you'd have that option. We're at about 8 minutes and 7 seconds here. Alright, so your Moira is coalescing. You didn't take that much damage. You should recognize that she's about to do that and just walk in with a coal. Because now you're split and you know, like, you're not really doing anything that a tank should be doing for your team. So you're walking up here. Alright, they use their dragons, but you are able to get through it and you still have the coal going. You got your shield up there. So if possible, I wouldn't be placing the shield at the same time as using Fortify. But, okay. That's not the worst because you were taking a bunch of damage. Now, you're here at the corner, and hopefully that's where you're going to stay. And try to get your pull. That's good. Alright. And now, instead of staying there at the corner, you move to the right. And the reason why is because you hear that I'm assuming you hear that their Baptiste is now ulting. And you don't want to be instantly deleted by the ult. But look, you're mostly full health. You are already at the corner here. Just a few seconds ago. Like, I'll try to back it up a little bit. Right? That's where you were. Right, he uses that ult. Just go back to the left. Where your team is, where you can get healing resources. You can use this wall here for cover, but you go under the right. Like, there's no real cover over here. Nobody can help you. All you're doing is walking out in front of the enemy team and making it easy for them to shoot you. Alright, now you're in separate places from your Roadhog, so your Meyer can't heal both at the same time. Your Roadhog wants to move forward, but you're like doing nothing over here in no man's land. Alright, and for this, something you can do when you're kind of full health here is allow yourself to get pulled up into the air. Especially if you notice the entire team is focusing their targets in the air and not the ones on the ground. So if that's the case, allow yourself to go up with whoever gets pulled up there. Take a bit of damage, then use your Fortify, because you'll be in the air for a little while. And if you use Fortify, you won't be in the ult anymore. So take a bit of a focus, because you have the ability to soak damage, and your Fortify will make it so you really don't get affected by this at all. So you can keep the rest of your team from taking that much damage as well. I mean, I guess maybe it's not the worst because your Roadhog doesn't have a real fear of being deleted, but if you do that, you kind of help pull the damage away from somebody else that doesn't really want to take it, and you can certainly afford to. And the longer you're up there, the longer that the enemy team hopefully is distracted by the fact you're there and they're not putting damage into the rest of your team. Like, if you notice that they're not really focusing you two up in the air, you know, when this happens, they're just shooting the rest of your team because there's no shields, then okay, yeah, fall down, Fortify, get there and be back in front of your team. But if you notice that you look like pretty glittery, glowy things up in the air that everybody's focused on, like shining lights, then stay up there for a little longer, and because that benefits your team even more. We're at 10 minutes and 56 seconds in the video, and our team is going into streets phase here. And I'm going to play this out because I like what you're doing here. There's good examples of what to do. So first of all, let's note that there's a Junkrat on the other team. And of course, Junkrat always does a lot of damage. You need to protect yourself and think about where you're positioning in regards to him. So first thing here is good use of the cart to protect yourself from just taking a lot of spam damage for no reason. I like this shield placement because it's partially obscured from the enemy, meaning they don't have the entire shield to just shoot at for free and delete, but it still protects you. And if they come out here to try to attack the shield, that means you can shoot them. That's a good pull. By the way, since you have a Roadhog on your team, I hope that you're calling out your pulls. This is another good shield placement because it's here at the corner and it's partially obscured, and your team has the ability to be shooting the other team, so it's good. It's a good position to do what you need to do. Another good pull. You're getting healed up by the cart and hopefully your healers, and so I like that too. All right, you put in another good shield. You have the ability to be doing something here. I can see that you're focusing the Junkrat and thinking about what to do to him to remove the threat. I like that. I wouldn't be going all the way out here in front of the enemy team. You know, there is a Junkrat. He is a consideration. And you do maybe want the information where he's at, but you don't actually have to go entirely out here to deal with him. Like if he's hard to get to, you still have some opportunities a little bit. Right? And he's not even over there anymore. But you don't want to expose yourself needlessly to the enemy team to deal with one threat like that if you don't need to. Because if they were any good, you'd be really low on health right now. Okay, we're at about 12 minutes into the video here. We're on the last part of King's Row, the last point. And I'd like to point out that there's a Junkrat on each team. So Casper's on the other team, Casper the unfriendly Junkrat. And he's trying to get up to high ground, as you can see. Alright, so he's just raining a bunch of mines on your team, and there's not much you can really do about it. The only person on your team that can really contest him is that Junkrat, as your Junkrat stratagem. And you don't really want him to be going up there. It won't be an easy thing for him to do yet. So what I would be looking to do is use your pull to get this Junkrat off of high ground. At the very least, you know, cause him to use his mines to get out of danger, and he can't use his concussion blast mines to damage your team any longer because he has to use it defensively to reposition. So he loses the offensive option, and that's a benefit to your team. But if you look at this, if you think about this point from a top-down perspective, you're basically pushing your cart in the middle of two high grounds. It's almost like you're going through the middle of a ravine, and the longer that anybody is up here on this high ground without being contested, the easier time they can just rain down all this damage for free on you. So let's watch what happens. Now Casper already has his ult, but he's raining a bunch of damage on your team, destroying your shields without even showing his body. You use your pull here on the rest of the team that are kind of out in the open, but he's not being contested. You're in front of the entire enemy team, plus he's up on high ground, damage your back line. And all right, and then in a second he's going to use his tire, because he's in a perfect position to do so. Like if he just does his tire up there, nobody can really challenge him, and he doesn't even have to think about trying to be tricky with his tire, meaning like climbing walls or whatever. He just has to run it off the top high ground here and blow up your team. And you lose your Junkrat because of that. And now your team is in disarray. The enemy Tracer is able to get some picks. Your team is taking a bunch of damage from all angles. And that's the last team fight. And you're simply existing as all charge from the other team because of that right now. That's enough examples of what I wanted to show you today. The main points here is you got to play Orisa differently in this meta, and you need to be thinking about her kit a little bit differently too. You need to be playing your corners and using your environment to block most of the damage. So use walls and the environment to block a majority of the damage, then put your shield down as a way to provide your team with a window of opportunity to get their damage in and conceal some kills, hopefully, and to basically allow them to do something when it's the best time and when they have the best chance to do it. Use Fortify when you want to stand in a position for longer, so your shield's already down and you're taking damage, and you recognize that it's important that you stand there and try to fight that out and keep that position, keep that pressure. Use it Fortify then, not when your shield's up. And the second time you want to use Fortify is, your shield's down and you're taking too much damage. You need to retreat. So first of all, you need to be in position where you have something to retreat behind. So, do what we said earlier, be close to the environment, or close to a wall and hopefully a corner where you can run away. And then, so basically that's your get out of jail free, so you can do that. So step 1, be close to a corner so you can retreat. Step 2, have Fortify then as a way to retreat. And you'll know, whether a fight's winnable, losable, and whether you need to get out based on what's happening. So you're either going to stay there, use Fortify to maintain that position, or retreat, use Fortify to get out of that position. Thanks for watching. I hope this video was helpful to you. If so, I'd be happy to know. I always enjoy getting feedback and learning or finding out that I've done something useful for someone else by doing this. If you have time, please go and check out the subreddit Overwatch Educators. It's a subreddit I put together where you're going to have free educational videos and guides and other content created by players that are at least Masters rank in Overwatch. So it's hopefully information that you can trust, and there's a bunch of videos up there. I recommend looking at Ace of Spades videos. He's a top 500 main tank, and he has some great educational content, like 5 videos that he put up there in the last month. So that's definitely worth your time. If you want to reach out to me because you have your own VOD to be reviewed, you can link that in. Well, I'll provide my socials down below, or you can put it here wherever you find this video. You can link it there or DM me, whatever way you want. If you want to use Q.gg, which is the program I used when originally reviewing this video, you'll see it where I took notes on the right hand side, and there's timestamps. It's kind of handy. There's also going to be a link in the description below for that. And thank you very much for everybody, their continued support, and I appreciate you. I hope you have yourself a good holiday season. Happy New Year.